Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. This will be episode 16 of our Solo World No Mods Update 11 playthrough. In this episode, we will be going and looking for iron. So let's get off our title screen, go back to our game. And the reason why we're going to be looking for iron is, one, we can't do the baking book for better food without iron. We can't do cooking book without iron. Well, basically any ore, but iron's the easiest one to find to start with. Besides, we need it for everything else. The next, other than that, we could go shipwright with our next star. So we can make water wheels as well. But for both cooking and baking, those are going to require the next tier of materials for the house. For the tables, I believe. I think they all require 1.8. Or maybe they require 2.8. We'd have to look. When they put in the extra tier, it throws everything off. I know they used to require tier 2 materials, which are now tier 3 materials. Because some of the stove and that required the brick or glass building, which before they added Adobe to be the new tier 1 and everything else shifted up a tier, they used to require 1.8. Glassworking, another one, it require a lot of engineering pages, so that would be going shipwright. But without glassworking, we'd also need it'd be nice to have the pottery to go with it. Well, mechanics, of course, is going to require metal and advanced research pages, randoms, so that's a lot of advanced research. Milling isn't needed until you get baking. Not really. Pottery is going to require us to have engineering pages, so we'd have to go shipwright to get to pottery. We already have the shipwright book, so we could actually do that. But if we wanted to go to smelting and start getting iron for better tools and to advance in our cooking and some of the others here coming up, blacksmithing, the mechanics, so we can get to the steam cart and some other stuff, making pipes so we can make an aqueduct for water power. We're going to need to find the iron ore. And so we're probably going to be looking at doing a lot of strip mining for iron ore today. Because I'd like to go get to smelting. But depending on where we get our book if we get our star before we find the iron, we will probably go shipwright. If we find iron before we get our star, then we will go towards smelting. So that's the plan in this episode. It's looking for iron. So we do have we got 2 of every food on us. We have our 2 pickaxes. They are both relatively repaired. 7 is our backup pick when number 2 breaks. So leave that. One thing we will do is we will go ahead and find the workbench. And we will make, I think it's the workbench. Was it the workbench? Yeah, the aresta. We're going to make 2 more arestas and 1 more rocker. skipped over it. Sorry, my brain's not functioning quite yet. I haven't had my breakfast. I just got up maybe half an hour, 45 minutes before I decided to start doing this, so my brain's a little bit foggy at the moment. So we'll get those up, and then we'll put them down there in the ground so that we can start using up more stone a lot quicker than it is with this single one. If you do 2 to 1, or 3 arrestas to 2 rockers, you pretty much use everything as it gets done without anything waiting, because the crushed sandstone being produced here is a 2-minute cycle for 3 crushed ore, or 3 crushed rock. Over here, making sand is 42 seconds. So it's quite a little bit more than 3 to 1, or a little less than 3 to 1 for time wise. But because we're using 2, that would mean 3 of these are going to produce 9 in the time this is only going to use 6. So that leaves 3 left over, and we start stockpiling too much crushed rock. That's why we had the second rocker. So eventually we will take another one, we'll put it here, we'll take this rocker, we'll move it over a little bit, and put the third one here, and then set the 2 rockers right next to it. And then reset the request. So 2 things when we're digging here. One, we will be going this direction. The reason why I am facing this one is if we go like this and come up here, that's the desert. The desert is where iron hides. So if we are going to take our little cue, and as you see, that 5 tiles is considered a property claim. That is where we will make our road going down into the desert. So that is where we will start our angle down into a lower level as we go down into the desert, hitting sand and trying to find rock, or trying to find iron. The other thing we are going to dig out is this here underneath our current house, so that we could eventually build the second level of our house and get 50% more XP bonus to help us start gaining more, or gaining more towards our next star. Because any more is going to cost us 1,000 character XP to get the next star. The first couple are like 250, and then 500, and then once it gets to 1,000, it's 1,000 all the rest of the way out. So the more XP you have between food and housing bonus is going to cut into that, even without the 2% bonus that I'm giving myself for every craft that I do. In a standard game, you still want to do the second level for a single resident house. So we said we were going to do so we need to go too high just so we can walk under it. Because the character is 2 tiles high. That's why doors are 2 tiles high. Do that, and then let's go one more in. And we will also dig the third one down here. that one, and then we will dig this one. Oh, more sandstone, yay. So we need to go 2, and then we'll go here for the ramps. Go drop 1 for every 2. Drop 1 tile every 4, I should say. So we'd have to go 4 tiles in for it to drop 1 tile. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we gotta dig this one out because it's required. You'll see why in just a moment. And we'll probably end up having to dig these out. So if we come over here and take our stone roads, as you see, I got it queued up for the ramp. So if we start here, see, we needed to actually do this. Dang it, wrong key. There. See, this is why we would have to take this out, because we can't walk under it. So we throw that back in there, we take this out. See, again, we can't go forward, so you do have to take all this out. It's considered, standing on the ramp, it is considered a full tile high wise. So here, after this, we'd be able to go and take out this next, drop down 1 tile. So now if we really want to, really bored with just processing stone into sand, because eventually we'll want to use some of it more for roads. Take that clay and throw it right there. We can let's move that over here. While we're doing this, give this something else to do while it's doing this. 5. Problem is, we're also going to get the wet tailings, which are a pollution thing, and you eventually want to bury them at least 30 tiles below the surface, so it does not affect any, it doesn't cause any pollution and affect anything on the surface. This is why you dig way down, and you bury these tailings underground. You also want to eventually put modules in these to reduce the amount of tailings that you get early on. And also in any other machine that you're making concentrate in. So we could do that, but I'm just not ready to do that yet. So let's go and remove these. And we quickly find our sand. And we'll have to go down one more for the next ramp. So let's go ahead, grab this. See, we could actually go like this, and so what that now allows us to do, if we really want to, is we could park our cart on a ramp, so we're a lot closer. Now let's go check something real quick. So this is out here, this is level 63. So we don't want to be hitting level 63 anywhere. That's 61. So this will be below where we want. So we could pull this dirt for the moment. Because see, that up there is 62, which means we got 2 levels of dirt before we hit really screw up, which is really what you don't want to do, because dirt is so hard to make the surface flat again. So since we're going to have to do that, now we will take, we're going to have to take out 3. So we'll take this dirt and drop it right here. Come back and get more stone. See, and because we've already put 1, we have to come back and change it. This gives us something smooth to run on, up and back, up and down. digging our sand out again. And I forget how, when they changed the ore generation, if they change the height at which ore generates. I know they changed the pattern. So it is no longer, you know, one big, massive vein of iron. It is sporadic patches with a lot of sandstone in between, or, you know, crushed stuff. Repair. We're at 109. Alright. We'll have to make another shovel before long. So, 1, 2, 3, one more. And yes, we do not care that we are getting this much sand, because if we're not using the crushed rock to make sand, we're using it to make roads. Well, we're using the sand in order... Yeah, we're using the crushed rock to make roads. We're using the sand to make the mortar, so that we can make the take the mortar and the crushed stone and make the roads that we want. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. So we need to get rid of this dirt, and this dirt, and we will get rid of this dirt as well. Now we'll come over here. God, I don't know why it wants to bring up the clay, or bring up the clay. Oh, we can do it this way. Just do it this way. There. So now we can bring our cart down a little bit farther. Up. We'll go ahead and bring it all the way around here. So let's move the clay and sand into here. We'll go ahead and throw the dirt up there. Oh, while we're here. That's because we had two things in the same spot and they can't stay that way. So while we're up here, why can't we find the Erastos? Oh, and it's boards and wood. Okay. So we need to make the boards and the wood. We need 10 boards, 20 boards. And we need 30 boards. So 30 boards. Storage, go food. We're not going to eat what's in our backpack. We'll just take it straight out of storage. then, of course, we need to go back down under here. You know what? We needed rock in order to make the rastas, so we'll just go ahead and start taking some of this out from underneath the house. Throw that up there, that's 30. I don't remember how much we need for each rasta. We can check here in a minute as soon as I dig the rest of this section out. And as you can hear, the tick, tick, tick of the workbench going off. Throw those up there, throw that in there. The arrestas. We got 42 in, we've already got those, and here we just need the boards. So the boards are getting made. We've got plenty of wood in order to do that. So those will all get made in time. So in the process, we'll come this way. Dig out more sand. And until we get to iron, we can't make the iron drill, which would help us a lot more with trying to find, you know, ore that we want. Because we can't check the next 15 tiles to know which direction we really want to go. So that goes there, that goes there. These dirts get picked up. We'll go back to pickaxe. Jump up, drop those in there. Could have dropped them in that right there, but we didn't. I wish it would stop grabbing the clay when I want the roads. Let's go grab 2 more so we don't have to change our setting. And we keep going. 1, 2. Bring it down, park it. It's a lot closer, we don't have to run back and forth as much. 2, 3, 4. Dig up the sandstone. Since that broke, we go to our backup. We'll grab our roads. And unlike Doc Brown, yes, we do need roads where we are going. Of course, it's telling us we don't have the room. That makes it too heavy. Alright, put those in there. We'll put this in here. We'll put this and this in here. Alright, so we need, what, 3 dirt? We gotta go back up. We need to go grab that dirt that we had up there. Let's grab 14 dirt. As you can see, we keep doing the same path all the way down, and we keep digging further and further down into the desert. Ultimately, when we get to 6 ramps down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you'll see is this is 56. What we want to see is 54. 54 would be the next flat spot because this one was 60. So 59, 58, 57, 56, 55 are the next stockpile down. 54 would be the next floor between stockpiles. So that's why we keep going down further and further. Damn it. Oh, too much weight. Alright, time to take this up and drop it in a stockpile somewhere. Let's go ahead and throw all this sand over here. Let's come over here, down the hallway. Find our arresta. Find our arresta. And we are currently making the other rocker. So, over here, this is still queued up for another 18. So we can't move that yet. So let's go number 8. Put that down. And we will start crushing sandstone again. This one's got... That's queued up for 150. Ooh. Let's just queue up 50. Storage. Alright, nope, backpack. Craft. Now, when you go to put a module into these, all it's going to do is change the craft time. It is not, and the calories. That's it. The craft time, the calories. If the module affects the calories, which I don't think it does. I think it's supposed to affect the resources and the time. So all you're going to do is reduce that 2 minutes down. So the crafts will be faster. Because in here, when you see a red box, it means, well, it means that you don't have what it is. But when you do have the recipe, and you have a yellow box, it means it is a static value. It is not affected by modifiers, which means that the modules will not change how many stone you need to run this recipe. It will always be 12 stone, getting out 3 crushed. Always. They do not change it to where it becomes profitable. The only thing that's going to change is the amount of time. So if we go back and look at basics, yeah, the basic survival. We come down here and look at the module. Oh, that's number 2. Number 1. No, that's 3. 1. Here's basic 1. So if you look at basic 1, it says decrease resource cost by on the table by 10%, decrease craft time of the table by 10%, of the work orders by 10%. So because it is not, the 12 is not affected by the 10% of resource cost, it will automatically only reduce the time. So yes, it is somewhat beneficial to put modules in these, but they are also some of the later ones that you want to. The ones you want to put them into are the ones that are going to reduce your cost overall. Something similar to any of the others that are inside the house at the moment in that front room. So if we put a module in here, as you see, it says dynamic value can be affected by modifiers. So if the item has no border, it can be affected by the module. So, such as boards, where it requires 1, we put a tier 1 module in here, it now only requires 0.9. So once again, you go back to having to change the quantity that you make at any one time so you don't waste part of a material. So it does affect, you know, the biggest spot where that's going to come in is when you're making like tables and furniture and whatever else, where you're going to have partials. And you only need so many of something. But when you're talking all your other ingredients, that's where it's going to come in. So instead of making, when I decide I want to make 10 boards, or say I only need 6 boards, but I'm going to make 10. Because if I make 6, I'm using 5.4 boards then, with a tier 1 module. Instead of 6, I'm wasting 0.6 of a wood. I'd rather make 10 and ultimately only use 9 wood. So basically I'm getting a free board out of making 10. Instead of using 9 wood to make 9, I'm using 9 wood to make 10, and that 10% is from the module. So ultimately, we do want to start making module 1s. So we need it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we could actually put one in here and in here, so that is at least 8 of them right now. We can't put any in here, so it doesn't matter. It is going to require 2 basic dendrologies and 2 basic geologies. So if we were going to make modules, we need to have dendrologies, which means we need more wood to make basic dendrologies, which is straight up wood, 20 wood per. So you need 40 wood and 60 stone per module. Tier 1. Oh, 90 stone. My fault. 90 stone. 40 wood and 90 stone. So this is why early miners, it is a good idea to do this. This is also one of the easiest basic papers to use for anything that becomes one of these. Because there's so much sandstone and other stone that out there that is useless otherwise. You can only crush so much of it for roads. You can only crush so much of it to turn into sand. For either granite or sandstone. Any of the others, there's, like I said, it's so much, only so much that you can use crushed basalt, crushed limestone comes in later for into the smithing when you're making steel. Or I think maybe glass also uses it. Gives us the glass working skill. Recipes to unlock, which is the quick lime, which is limestone, crushed limestone turned into it. Yeah, that's glass. Alright, so that's glass and quicklime. Quicklime is over in the smelting line. But glass is sand and crushed limestone. Fiberglass is glass. So you're going to use a lot of limestone once you start doing glass. And of course the smelting. So once we look at smelting here, you have, I don't see quicklime there. That's probably it's part of the steel one, which is later on. Which we don't have because we haven't done here. This then allows, smelting. I know it's there somewhere. The advanced smelting, which is what gets us our steel. which, as you can see here, is the... Where's quicklime? Should be there somewhere. But in steel, you need 4 quicklime. Ceramic molds. Or silica, which is crushed sandstone or granite with clay and sand. And as you saw, you use 4, you get back 3, so it is another recipe that has diminishing returns. So you're always going to get back less, which is again another reason why you make modules, to try to minimize your complete waste. There's our other rocker. Alright, so how many more does this rocker have to go? 5 more. So this is a... Three by 4. So we need 3 tiles over. So 1, 2, 3. So the rocker needs to go here. So this one we could start doing. We could do sand if we wanted, but we're not going to, because we're going to be digging so much sand it's not worth making anymore. But as you can see, we're kind of ahead with just the one rocker making sand. Okay, let's turn this card around and then back it down. That's 55, so we do need to do that one. That was a mess up. I screwed that up. Because I wanted to put those there. I wanted to put dirt there. Oh well, we'll get dirt back there at some point. It's not a big deal. So 1, 2, 3, one more. See, we're getting, now that we're hitting more sandstone instead of the sand, we're starting to get down low enough that would you stop grabbing the items that I don't frickin' want? Of course. I gotta remove this. Sand. Alright, let's take this back up, empty it out. This goes in here. This can go in here. This will put on us. We'll take it straight up top. We'll come down in here real quick. Go here, storage, and then we'll throw this up in here. So for now, let's go ahead and make some more mortar, even though we don't need to. It is something that you'll always make, so it's not a big deal. Because mortar is used in making a bloomery, making bricks, making the kiln, which we already did, making mortared stone for advanced geology pages, stone roads. So it's got plenty of uses for making mortar, so it doesn't hurt to always make some. Which is why if you end up being a lumberjack and cutting wood with logging and you get all that debris, you could always use your campfire, put a little bit of wood in, and then burn your wood pulp. Make mortar, and then in a multiplayer, if you have an economy, you sell the mortar, you're making a little bit of profit. We do need to eventually find a way to get some of that crushed ore up here. So here, let's go ahead and make another shovel. This one is already down to 91. And it starts out at 350. I really don't want to repair it one more time, but I will. We're down to 75 ticks. And we are approaching our 1 hour time limit that I've set for myself. But we are almost down one more level for the way I usually do my stockpiles. So we're looking at, that's 55. So if we took these out, too hungry. Of course, we ain't got any food on us. We're gonna have to go the long way because we don't have a stockpile close enough to the food. Oh wait, yes we do. We got the ability to get the food. Never mind. I'm being a little bit stupid. I keep forgetting from here. Oh, from here. I guess it's too far away. I didn't think it was. Now I can reach it. I don't know why I couldn't reach it from the other side. So if we did that, what this now has is, this is level 54. This is where we want to put our next stockpile. So now if we would dig straight to keep our road going, but as I said, this is the minimum height you need just for the cart and yourself. If you start getting into the bigger vehicles, such as the steam powered cart, and then eventually the steam truck, your roof would need to be a lot higher because their height is higher. You think you need at least 4 tiles in order to run the steam cart or the powered cart through, because they both stand 3 tiles high. So I'd have to take out another layer all the way through this just for that vehicle to slide down this road. But what I would then do is I could start digging this way. And I mean, that's going to be the rest of that road. But once we got past that point, if we could dig out a 5x5 area, we could put a stockpile right there. And then we could have that, and then, you know, just keep digging, put it in there, open up another stockpile area, put another one. And then you just keep digging out the 5x5x5 area and putting it in the previous stockpile. That's how you can start clearing out a mass area. And then, you know, you bring your cart when you need to move something. If you can get it to where you have stockpiles all the way back, and then you can connect to another one. You can just keep leapfrogging your material from one stockpile to another, all the way back. And then you open up the ones back here. Same thing for going from lower to higher. You can leapfrog them up levels. This is why I do my 5x5 and then my levels on 6. Is because I can go down another level and then leapfrog that level up, and then up again and up again, until it is closer to my production. Which eventually you will do, because you have to get down so many tiles in order to find the ores. They are so buried a certain distance underneath the ground. I don't remember what it is because of the ore generation change, but it is a process. Now here, what I would probably do in the off time is dig out these 5 spaces right here and put a road that I can then bring on this, because this is going to be the main road right next to where the house would end up being, at least for here. And then this would be an offshoot down to iron. So I will end up digging out the rest of the 5 wide. I'm debating on whether I'm going to go and remove one more tile high already. If I do, it's gonna screw up this area here. I'm gonna have to finally come out here and do something about this. I'll have to increase the amount of dirt out here. So if I'm going to dig out more dirt, I'm going to come out here and set it out here so that it doesn't affect my road. Because if I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, as you see, that is where that current dirt is, and I'm going to need it to be at least 1 more higher. I may just increase it all up to that height right there. I may fake it so that it's up on that level. At least for the, you know, first out to here. probably out to this spot right here. I could probably put some dirt here, and then I'll level this out by fakery. And I think I'll show that fakery how I do it. It's kind of like what I did for the top of the house. You have the top of the house with wood, and then you put the dirt on top. It looks like the ground is fully there, and nothing's hidden. So it's basically what it is. It's just to move that stuff up without having to dig and then redig and then replace and then place a lot of dirt and then dig out everything underneath it. But that is going to be what I'm doing. I may also, in the off screen, continue to dig out this area here so that I have more open space. I will have to dig out this for the new floor, one tile down, much like I'm going to do for the road that runs by here. So when I come back, I'll probably have this road in. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and showing you how to get a road down. I mean, you could do it and just have steps, basically go down one step at a time. But you can't take a cart down there, which is a lot more helpful than having to carry it all up one at a time. So it's really up to you how you do it. Most people like to do roads down, so yes, it does take quite a bit of distance because you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 chunks or 5 land claims to build a ramp that goes down 6 tiles. But it is what it is. But alright, so I will see everyone back in the next episode. I do not know where I'm going with it yet, but I will figure that out while I am doing all this other stuff, and then I'll see you then. So enjoy your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you happen to be. Till next time.